So today we are seeing a slight threat over portions of the Carolinas and Tennessee and then parts of Georgia also. But outside of that, we are just seeing kind of some general thunderstorms across the rest of the country. But our big key is what basically is going to be kind of a line of thunderstorms that's going to form in the cross parts of really the Appalachian Valley there. And it's going to be kind of spreading down. And we'll see that in the composite reflectivity. But we're not expecting these to go crazy severe. They're just kind of some isolated cells that are going into an area that's a little bit warmer. So that's why they're going to be developing, giving us that slight chance. Probably some hail with this. We're expecting some potentially damaging winds. It's not our biggest threat, but we're looking at kind of a hail threat. There is a 5% tornado threat, so a very low chance, but one of those could go tornadic if it kind of gets severe enough and gains enough energy on its own. But our big thing today is just kind of some areas of rain across the country. And we'll see that there's also potential down in parts of Texas and Louisiana that we could see a severe thunderstorm or two. There is going to be some pop-ups down there that you can also expect. So temperatures today, very cold across most of really the Midwest through the Ohio Valley up into the Northeast. We are seeing kind of a dip bring some of that Canadian air south. One thing that is kind of funny about this, it's actually warmer up in Canada than it is in multiple of our states. But the big thing is with this, it's kind of a big trough that develops and brings some of that Arctic air down in. But our big thing that we could look at for this upcoming week is that we could see some colder temperatures across parts of the country. We could see a lot lower than average, but across the plains we're seeing very warm temperatures, and even in the south we can see up in the 90s. So it's going to be very nice basically if you live in the southern half of the country, but the northern half of the country, especially the northeast, you're going to be experiencing some colder temperatures and even potential for snow at the end of the week. But we'll get into that in a podcast basically about what to expect here later in the month, because this month is looking to be below average temperature wise across a whole lot of the country. And that could affect how severe weather goes. It could push it a little bit later, but a crazy thing about it is that we're talking more about cold weather now than what we were in the winter. So looking at what we were talking about with the rain today, we see that there is just kind of a scattered mess occurring across basically the entire Midwest, and you can see where that trough is developing there, coming down through the Dakotas and then kind of bottoming out across parts of kind of Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, and Virginia. Well, we're just going to kind of see a mess over parts of kind of the Washington, D.C. area, but the whole rest, we're seeing this kind of rotate down and kind of spin a little bit, and that's allowing some bigger showers to develop across parts of Illinois and then travel into the Ohio Valley overnight tonight. But looking at where that severe threat is at the kind of the corners of the Carolinas, we see really around lunchtime and into the early afternoon hours, we see a line of storms develop, and that line actually tracks clear into Texas. And these are each individual cells, but our Texas danger there is if any of those cells that are traveling from Texas into Louisiana develop along maybe a mini squall line. That's where our severe threat in Texas is at. But looking up where our biggest severe threat is, it looks like it's going to be a line of thunderstorms that are going to be individual cells, potentially supercells. They're going to produce and maybe form a bigger system traveling through the Carolinas later on tonight around 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So we do see a lot of rain, and then that rain system that's currently traveling kind of over the northeastern plains, that is going to bring snow whenever it whips back up into the northeast, and we could see some pretty big snow totals compared to what normally happens in May. I mean, not much normally, but we could see some bigger snow totals later on, and that could be affecting how activities are and everything. But we are seeing kind of that clash of two different areas where we see individual energy area pocketed in Texas and Louisiana, and then we see the trough developing with a low that will allow some severe weather over the Carolinas. So that does it for today's forecast. We hope to see you tomorrow in Wednesday's forecast.